Hello, Pammy.
Um,
How are you doing?
I'm good.
What's
I'm
happening over there 2 blocks away?
two
In
blocks
Laurel
away.
Canyon.
Still a little cloudy out
Yeah,
there
yeah, it
and
is.
cold, which is why I'm wearing a jacket.
Yeah, I know I got a little sweater around too, but I'm like, all of that, all of those tech issues really heated me up. So, I am so proud of my friend Pam because, well, I've put in the body of the blog how we met, like decades ago. We were two of maybe six writers at Hit and Run, and that was a wonderful experience. And we'll get to that. But I'm so inspired and proud of friends who I came up with. So we're sort of in the same generation. I'm probably a little bit before you, who are releasing music. So the big hit we know Pam for was the first Christina Aguilera song that probably launched her career, which was Genie in a Bottle, which Pam wrote with Steve Kipner and David Frank.
Yeah.
And then you were sort of on the same path as I was, pitching songs to artists and getting loads of songs recorded. Um, Demi Lovato, Corinne Bailey Ray, that's a get. Corinne Bailey Ray's a real get. I'm jealous of that one. Seal,
Yeah, that was a get.
Sinead O'Connor. We'll have
Yeah,
to talk about that. I didn't know that one.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's a real get. But now you're releasing your own material with your friend Eva.
Sarah.
Oh,
Sarah Bethany. That the project name is
it's
Eva.
Eva. And about 6 months ago, Pam and I were driving home from
Dinner.
someplace in my car, and she played it for me, and I thought, that thought, what do you say if you don't, what am I going to say if I'm not loving this? It would be so awkward, but it was so beautiful. It just made the whole ride home feel like moonlight was shining down on my car. So tell us a little bit about that project and then we'll go back.
Yeah, well, obviously I've been writing for other artists most of my career. Always putting I wanted to be an artist initially when I first started out
You
writing.
are an artist. You
Thanks. Yeah, thank you. I don't know whether it was confidence or it just, bad timing, whatever it was. I fell into writing for other artists, and I loved that. Absolutely loved that. But I always felt like I was putting my my project on the back burner and on the back burner and on the back burner and finally started working on something a couple of years ago. You and I both have been out to the Hawaii Songwriting Festival a few times, and I met a wonderful artist out there called Sarah Bethany, and we really connected as human beings first. I think as
Mhm.
like a long lost sister or something, and we performed. She accompanied me at the performance because when you're a mentor going to the festival,
Mhm.
you perform, as you know. And so she got up and performed. She plays keys and sings, and and I kept going back each year, and we became sort of closer and good friends. And I said, hey, why don't we write a song for the festival next year if I'm invited back? And
Mhm. You're always invited back.
well,
You invite me back all the time. What is with that?
I don't know. You've got to get in there, Shell.
Am I too high maintenance or something? I don't know.
No, no. I don't know. I think because Richard and I are a team, and
Yes.
we do workshops for them
Right.
sometimes, all those kind of things. But but Sarah, yeah, we wrote the song, and it was like, oh, this is cool. This is nice. and so we started writing another song and another song, and it sort of turned into a project accidentally, but not accidentally.
Yeah. Sorry, not sorry, accidentally, not accidentally. What is an accident? And sometimes the things that just happen without the planning are the best laid plans or accidents, right?
Absolutely.
So it's called Peace in Our Time.
The Peace in Our Time was the first song that we just released.
Mhm.
It was such a huge thing for me. Letting go has always been a huge thing for me. Um,
Letting go of what
oh,
in this
letting go of
case?
everything, anything, anything and everything,
In this case,
tinkering. I'm always tinkering and wanting to make it better and better.
oh, letting go of the recording.
Yeah, letting go of a song, finally. And so that felt good. That was in March. We let go of our first single, and we're just about to release May the 9th, I think it is, a song for Mother's Day, and it's called Mother Mother.
Nice. So when I heard this piece in our time, I thought it's relevant to so many things, especially the time that we're living in now with the fighting and the division. But it's not just about that. You're not just talking about that, but it's certainly not like a love song or a breakup song or a booty call. It's, you know,
None of these songs are. They're very conscious. I would call them conscious songs.
spiritual.
Spiritual.
And I think, have you heard Jesse Wells? He's a new artist that's just, he's like a little like Dylan, but of course nobody's as good as Dylan, but he's writing prolifically about what's going on in the state of the world. And I find it so refreshing to hear something that's not about me and you. I mean, those songs are wonderful and inspired and keep us going, but it's just nice to have this other subject, this other prompt.
Well, it takes the songwriters and the artists to speak out, and when the world is in such a dreadful state, it's the artists,
Mhm.
poets, and that change the world by their art, and making a movement, creating a movement of people that
I
believe.
think it gives us hope.
Yeah.
It makes us feel more grounded and it gives us hope. And I love, you know, I I've heard the style of your vocals, it's a cappella, called a cappella folktronic.
Oh, I haven't heard of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's sort of similar to what Imogene Heap did with Hide and Seek.
Yeah, I love
Very
Imogen.
evocative of that.
Yeah, she's all.
Completely different subject and melody, but it's those close harmonies. Did you use a harmonizer? How did you record those vocals?
Harmonizer, yeah. So we had to go in and put the chords in that we wanted. And that was like the trigger to
Your
the
the vocal.
vocals, yeah. I mean, we did our vocals first, our lead vocals first. So there's my voice is the melody, and Sarah's voice is the harmony up, and then we put the harmonizer.
It's beautiful. And then Mother Mother, is that done in the same?
It's a slightly different genre. I would call that more folktronic, as you said.
Is it also a cappella?
Yes,
Hmm.
yes. It is only a cappella, in fact.
Hmm.
So we've got that. It's kind of got that Celtic vibe to it. It's got
Hmm.
a drone, a very low vocal drone underneath.
Yeah.
Some very high, because Sarah's got this crazy high voice. She, crazy range. She's got an amazing range, and she can hit those, notes that only dogs hear.
Mhm. I hear it right now, dear. It's going on in my ear, going on 2 years. That's another blog, but I'm here and I'm happy. It's tinnitus for those of you who, the airport in my head, I call it. So you are going to release a second single and an EP? You're going to do an album? You'll see how it goes, or
don't know yet. I think we've got the first four songs lined up to go, and we've written another five or six. We just need
right,
to get together and record them. She's in
right.
Hawaii. I'm
In
here.
Hawaii.
Yeah, so we sort of need to figure out the next steps,
Yeah.
logistics.
Well, you made it this far, so there's no rush,
Yeah.
right? It's like now when you get to this point in your career and your life, it's things on your terms, right? So let's talk about when they weren't on your terms, when we would do anything. You know, Franny Goldie once said to me, I'll never forget this. She's a huge writer, and she said, Shelley, every song I ever got cut, it was a fight, like it was a challenge. And I thought, what is she talking about? Now looking back, I see what she's talking about. You know, that sometimes an artist doesn't want to record a song and the label wants them to. In this case, I think Christina was receptive to everything because she was right out of the Musketeer land, you know? But now, like when she looks back on What a Girl Wants, she will say, um, I was so tired of those teen
Oh no,
opera songs.
she hated Genie in a Bottle. She did not want to record Genie in a Bottle.
Okay, so what happened?
It was Ron Fair that suggested she did that song, apparently. That's
Hmm.
the story I heard.
Hmm.
Um, and um, and he said to her, you listen to me on this record, and then you can do what the hell you like on the second album. That's what
And he
happened.
kept his promise because it, you know, she got out of that. But I think, you know, you and I should be proud of that, proud of those songs. Um, did you have any idea, like when we were introduced to Christina, when you were introduced to Christina, what was your feeling? Did you think, oh, this is going to be a slam dunk with Genie in a Bottle?
Well, I didn't meet her until it was in the charts, Shell, because I was living in the UK.
London. Oh, you can.
So when I came out to write the song in 98, I was here for a few weeks. I was a broke songwriter. I didn't have a lot of money in my account. And I wrote the song. I think I might have gone on to Nashville for a week or something and then gone back to the UK. And by that time, they played the song to Christina. They played it to Innocence, that girl group Innocence,
Uh-huh.
same label as Christina, and also to Paula Abdul. And those three artists wanted the song.
Wow.
And so David and Steve said, well, phone me to tell me, because in those days we didn't have like cell phones.
Right.
We had a cell phone. Or maybe we did. I don't know. But they
No, we
phoned
didn't.
back in the UK, they phoned me and
They were the big, it was those
the
big,
bricks.
the bricks, the shoes.
And I don't think they worked internationally, but yeah, so they phoned and said, listen, we think we should go with Christina because Shelley's on it, Diane Warren's on it, Guy's on it,
Yeah,
some
but Paula
really.
Abdul, did she have like straight up at that time? And
No, I think
was
that
she,
her, no, well, no, she'd had that already. Yeah, she had
yeah,
that already. But I wouldn't say that Paula Abdul was at the peak of her career then.
yeah, but Jeannie could have brought her back.
It could have, but
I could have,
her
I mean,
range.
it's all good what happened, you know.
Oh, believe me,
But
yeah.
it didn't matter if it was in Paula Abdul's range. She's a lovely woman, but we all know she was
Yeah,
being helped vocally.
yeah.
So Pammy, so it comes out, it goes number one, and how did you,
Well,
can you,
first of all, I didn't think it would go number. I didn't think it would go in the charts because it was like nothing sounds like this on radio. It taught me a lot. The song. I mean, apart from keeping me and my family alive for years, um, it taught me a lot because didn't. I just didn't think it was going to go because it
so what
was.
did it teach you?
Well, it taught me that you have to write something really different and unique,
Uh-huh.
really unique. Think
Right.
out of the box.
Who used to call that, the guy at Atlantic used to call that high concept. Who
Yeah.
was that? Mike Karen used to call them high
Not
concept
Craig
songs.
Foreman.
Not that it was like such a high intellectual concept. It was just different. It wasn't just a pronoun, love pronoun. It was, where did you come up with that concept?
Yeah, I think we
Have
all
it
have
written in
different
your,
memories, but I think we all have different memories. But yeah, I had lyrics in the back of my book, and we found that concept. I started with Century of Lonely Nights because I had that in the back of my book,
Mhm,
and it led to Genie. I don't know exactly. I can't remember who came up with it.
mhm.
I didn't actually want to call it Genie in a Bottle. Um, we were going to call it If You Want to Be With Me.
Oh, no, no, no. See, all the pronouns in that title. There are loads of hits with pronouns in the title, but the more you could get away from the yous and the me's,
Yes.
I think, and focus on a refreshing object or something that you haven't heard in a pop song. So Pam and I have been doing a lot of work with Sona Songwriters of North America, and many, many years after that song was this big, huge hit, we were in the office of Karen Bass before she was the mayor of LA. She was
Right.
a congressperson, and we would bring our songs down and sing to the congress people to try to get more favorable laws for copyright ownership and intellectual property. And the songs that we played for them definitely spoke louder than any kind of narrative for why they should befriend
Right.
us. And you sang Genie in a Bottle for Karen
Adam,
Bass.
Adam played for me, and you did backing
And
vocals.
I did the backing.
Funny.
Let's do it. It was you,
Ah,
my
okay.
body saying, let's go.
That's right. Ah, remember,
Your body saying, I don't remember, but I was doing CVs
you were
and,
so funny.
and
She
she
loved it.
loved it. She
Yeah.
loved it. Cut to a couple of years ago, Sona had a fundraiser for Nancy Pelosi, and Milk was supposed to sing, and she got COVID. And Michelle Lewis called me and she said, "You're up." And I said, "What am I going to? I'm not going to sing bitch for Nancy Pelosi." And she said, "Yes, you are." And she had a great sense of humor, and so did Karen Bassett. Anybody else? We got a lot of laws changed
Yes.
MMA because of the power of a song.
Oh,
So
yeah.
when Genie came out, I'm sure that everybody was calling you saying, write us another Genie, write us another Genie, write us another Genie. And that really became your signature song. And I think that's like an amazing signature song. How did
Well,
you feel about it then to how you feel about that song being the song that is connects to you now?
well, yeah, it's wild because a lot of people think it's the only song that I've ever written, or ever had a hit with. It's like, oh, that one hit.
No, Sinead O'Connor, Seal.
But it was amazing. It was an amazing experience. I mean, we all know how difficult it is to get into the charts. It was probably a little easier in that day. Um, but we worked our asses off for years and years to get to that point. And then
Mhm.
when it sort of happens, it's surreal. It's almost like
Yes.
it's not, is this happening to me? You can't quite believe it. So it was an amazing experience, and I'm extremely grateful for it.
Yeah.
It is the gift that keeps giving.
Yes.
And
Grateful.
don't know where I'd be without that song. But what was the other part of the question, Cheryl?
I don't remember. I remember nothing.
How is it today?
So here's you started as a session singer. So you were able to sing all your demos, right? Which always like made me so jealous because I always had to hire somebody. I
Oh,
was,
what a great voice.
yeah, but I can't
And
sing. I have no range.
ah,
I hired you for a couple of songs.
I think you did. Yeah.
So Pammy, tell us a little bit about, I see you have songwriter camps up on your name. Tell us
Oh,
a little bit about what you do. And I just have to say, every time I get emails, there's another thing for a song camp, write your own songs, learn how to write hits. There are so many master classes, but what you do with Richard is really the cream of the crop kind of
oh,
camp.
thank
I
you.
know from people who have done it with you and from the results that you've got from it. So tell us a little bit about, I'll put links to everything. So if
Thanks,
people want
Pam.
to get
Yeah.
in touch.
Yeah, well, it was really around 2017 I almost left the business because I was, well, how the hell am I going to make any money anymore from the business? Because our, as everyone knows, streaming royalties, we know how much our songs were worth pre-streaming and how much how much our royalties went down, how
Yep.
many zeros there were missing from our royalties. And I just thought, well, I can't sustain this anymore. I'm going to have to find something else to do. And I actually left for a little while. Well, I always carried on writing, but I did something else on the side that wasn't music. I hated it. And then
Uh,
um, selling some face creams and beautiful products, which I got sort of, pulled into by a friend who used to be a music publisher, funnily enough. But yeah, I didn't like it at all. So I started talking to Richard about putting together a camp. Um, and we talked about it for a year. And then we did 3 in-person camps in Palm Springs.
mhm.
Um, we're both really passionate about the craft of songwriting, and we go to a lot of these festivals and expos. And we heard a lot of songs. Well, we hear and heard a lot of songs at these festivals that are presented really before they're ready. The songwriting was lacking.
Mhm.
Maybe the wonderful, visuals and photos and all the packaging and stuff was good, but we really felt the craft of writing, songwriting was missing in a lot of places. And so we thought, well, let's give it a shot and see what happens. Again, an organic kind of, well, we'll try it. And we had people from all over the world come to these camps from Russia. Actually, the girl that came out from Russia didn't go home. She ended up signing a production deal with Ken Kalay's company.
Mhm. Wow.
Um, and she's still here. She ended up getting a visa and staying.
Oh,
Um,
that
but
says a lot.
yeah, South America, England, all over Europe. And we started meeting all these independent artists and producers, and really felt a good, we loved it. It was a kinship. And then the pandemic happened. And
Yeah. And then COVID, dot, dot, dot.
what do we do now? So we went online and we felt that we could offer songwriters, artists, and producers independence that couldn't necessarily get their foot in the door to music supervisors, that couldn't get a publisher or a publishing deal, because that's tough now.
Right.
It's
You have
very,
to have the hit first. Whereas when we were coming up, they
there
believed
was a lot of
in us,
development.
they signed us, and that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, there was more development deals going on,
Right.
but now there's not. And to get your foot in the door as a young artist or producer, it's tough. So we wanted to offer an opportunity where it was important to me that people owned their own songs, so they weren't giving up any ownership to do it. They were giving up a sync fee, a placement fee,
Mhm.
and an industry standards placement fee, a 30% placement fee as opposed to a 50%, which a lot of people are doing now.
Right.
But we wanted it to have fair terms. We wanted to offer these opportunities for artists to meet other producers.
Collaborators too, right? Producers and you have guests, you have producers in, and you have Michael Eames and publishers and sync people,
Well,
and
Michael Ames is our publishing partner, so
right,
he represents everything one stop, which is what the music supervisors like because
Mhm.
it's one clearance.
Right.
So Michael comes in with his team on every sync camp and you know puts all that together and helps the music supervisors and it's really worked very, very well. So we do 2 or 3 a year.
In Palm Springs, or do you move around, or
It's all done online, Shell.
online now?
Yeah, and that's because
Palm
all
Springs.
what yeah, no, I miss it. We're,
Just
we're
think it could be international, a lot easier.
international. The producers can work in their spots in their studios. They've got their, there's no
Here,
expensive fees of traveling, hotels, food, all that sort of stuff.
right. Well, we'll post a link to that.
Thank you.
Anybody who's interested could hit you up. So, Pammy, what what would you say to before we leave? Um, is the best morsel of advice you could give to somebody who wants to do what you did? And I know it's another time now, but what would you say to them anyway?
I'd say if you're really serious at this and you want to do this, that you don't have a plan B, that you want to do this and it would make you miserable for the rest of your life if you didn't do this, you got to put in 120%. You got to put in 1,000%. You've got to live and breathe it. Perfect your craft. If you don't know your instrument so well, get better at it. Get your voice in the best possible shape. Go to all these expos and songwriting festivals where you can meet other like-minded people, where you can meet music executives, um, get your contact base
Yeah.
together, travel like we did, Shell.
Mhm.
You used to travel all over Europe, come to London on a regular basis, like I used to come the opposite direction to America. Super important to build your network.
Yep.
um,
And wait for your accident.
and wait for your accident, your happy accident.
Because it never happens the way you plan, but you've got to do the work.
You got to
And
put the
then
work.
it just comes.
Yeah, I mean, this whole thing of waiting to
Discover.
be discovered, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Maybe once in a million
Yeah.
years.
Everybody's path is different.
Got to get busy.
And I'm glad that our paths are interconnected. When I
I,
first met you, we lived 5,000 miles apart, and now we're a half a mile apart.
I know. I love it. I so looked up to you, Shell.
Oh, and I you.
You were amazing, and hit and run days was such fun. I remember those days with
And if
uh,
we had another 20 minutes, we could get into it.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
I'll write a little bit about it in the body. They were special times, and we were lucky.
Yeah. Thank you for having
This
me.
is see
Thank you,
you
my
very
darling.
soon.
Take it easy.
You too, baby.
Bye.